Some games show 3D objects inside their user interface, and I think that's pretty cool. Today we're going to do it ourselves inside of Unreal Engine. Let's get started. So we're here in the first person template, and the trick behind this project is actually going to be to take a 3D character, spawn it underneath the map, put a camera on it, cut out the background, and stick it on a widget as a material. And that sounds really complicated, but actually it's quite easy. So I'm just going to show you the project files really quick. I have a character that I'm going to be using from Mixamo. I have the first person stuff and just some of the geometry from the map. But I'm going to go ahead down here and create the actual interface. So I'm just going to go in here and make a new folder. We'll call it UI. And then inside of UI is where we're going to actually handle everything. We'll create the actual widget. It'll be called inventory. And we'll just say like this is an inventory. You can show your player on the left screen, and then on the right you'll have your items. And then the actual overlay, we'll just call this overlay. And I'm just going to quickly throw together the inventory, just kind of putting some placeholders on the right, and then when the user presses I on their keyboard, it'll open to the screen. Alright, and there we go. So we have a little inventory component that opens up. We just have some squares. I don't really do anything. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually draw the character here on the left screen. So like I mentioned earlier, we're going to make an actor, and we're actually going to spawn it underneath the world. And it's going to have a scene capture component, and that scene capture component is going to give us what we want. We can take that into a render target, and then that we can transform into a user interface material. I know it sounds kind of complicated, but it's quite simple. We go in here, we click Blueprint Class, and I'm just going to call this Overlay Actor. Another thing I'm going to create is under Materials and Textures, we're going to create a render target. Call this Overlay Target. And of course we need to make a material out of this, so we'll go ahead and make a Overlay Target material. So the first place we're going to start is actually in the Overlay Actor. We're going to go in here and let's just get up our mesh, create our skeletal mesh. There's our character. He is very large. I don't think I have these proportions set up correctly. Let's make him a little bit normal there. Get his little animation on. And that's our character standing there. We'll go ahead and create a scene capture component 2D. And what the scene capture component 2D is going to do is going to capture him. And then we're going to actually draw it to the render target, which is right there. And then you can actually see the target updates as the camera kind of records him. What this does is, technically, this is an image texture. That's essentially what this is. And that image texture is being updated automatically by what the camera component is actually seeing in the world. So at this point, you just kind of rotate it around, position it the way you want to position it. Every once in a while, you may need to compile to actually see the update. And just kind of make it look as good as you can with a little image down here. And at this point, everything is set up nice. We have our camera set up, we have our character right here. But what we want to do is we want to get rid of that background. And of course, this is going to draw a background. Right now, it's black, but we want to have it be transparent, so when it's on our widget, we don't have to look at that. What we're going to want to do is tell this camera to only show him. We can do that pretty easily by just going into the begin play here. Take your capture component and just go ahead and type show only. And we can show only actor components. What that's going to do is it's going to show the components of a specific actor. Well, the hack here is we can actually just use the self. So that means it's only going to show the components of this actor, which is this guy. And if you have any other things you need to set in here too, for example, if you have maybe a character customization system or different equipment on the character, you can just kind of shoot it in here with the begin play right here. Just kind of set up the scene as best as you can in blueprints. That's really what I recommend. So I think we're pretty much done here. So what we're going to do in the material is this right now is set up as a PBR node. We kind of need to change this to a user interface. This gives us final color and opacity. We're going to make this translucent. And we'll take our alpha 1 minus and stick it on the opacity right there. So now we have our little character. We can save this, and since our target's already set up, all we have to do is go into our inventory, create an image, set the image to the overlay target, and make it sit right here. So let's test it, see how it looks. We have our background on here. Let's see, we'll figure out why that's working like that. We haven't actually spawned the actor onto the map. I just wanted to see how everything worked. But our actual inventory drawing right here, we create the widget, and then we remove the widget. Under the create, I'm going to actually spawn that actor. So let's just spawn it. Actor from class. We'll go ahead and split the struct pins so we don't get compiler errors, and we'll take the location. We'll just set it to like -2000. The actual class is going to be our overlay actor. And I think I'm happy with that. We'll go down here and destroy actor when the inventory is closed. And that looks okay to me. Compile and save. Let's see how that looks. So there's our actual character. You can see he's breathing, he's moving. That background has been taken away, which is what we wanted. He's extremely low resolution though. So let's figure out why that's happening. If you go into your actual overlay target, and I recommend against going too crazy with these numbers because you can create some pretty big and resource heavy textures by doing this, but it's set to 256. I recommend 512, but 1024 also does it. I think this is actually, we're doing 600 in the actual widget, so I might as well just put it up to 600 so we're not downscaling. And look at that. There's our character. So hopefully that made sense. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'm going to be releasing this project file for free just so you can kind of see how it looks in the description. And hopefully I was able to be of some help. Thank you guys for checking out the tutorial. I'll see you in the next one.